So I'm going to be going over a quick video on how to book qualified calls using your LinkedIn profile and the DMs. And this isn't going to be a video on just commenting 10 times per day and just optimizing your profile, and probably that's really it. And what most people do when trying to get qualified calls on LinkedIn. We are going to be going much deeper than that. So I call this the authority flywheel system. It's a fully managed LinkedIn client acquisition system, and probably the only B2B client acquisition system that guarantees your expertise is converted into qualified sales calls on LinkedIn. Now, it's time you stop the feast of famine cycle and begin getting 5 to 15 pre-sold high-ticket sales calls monthly while spending less than 3 hours per month on LinkedIn. Most founders we work with fall under one of these categories or have these problems almost all the time. They're in a feast or famine cycle. Your sales pipeline is probably a constant source of stress. You rely on unpredictable referrals or sporadic outreach, which creates a crippling inconsistency that caps your growth. You're also in a time trap. You are visionary and an operator, not a full time marketer. Your time is too valuable to spend hours writing content or sending DMs that probably won't convert. There's also a brand risk. You know you should be on LinkedIn, but you fear appearing cringy or inauthentic, or you don't have anyone in your team also who could do this for you, which means the personal brand you've worked so hard to build could be damaged, which is a really bad thing, by the way. And there's also an authority gap. Your market leading expertise is currently invisible, allowing competitors with inferior services to steal your market share simply because they are louder and just have more attention than you, which is just how LinkedIn works. The person with the most attention will get the most leads. And now the new model is the authority flywheel system. And I want to go over this. The problem isn't you, it's your model. The old model of B2B client acquisition is broken. Your team and a bunch of SDRs are no longer enough to build and execute a complete LinkedIn GTM strategy for your business, which forces you to get mediocre results and also forces you to choose between spending your time on low leverage marketing tasks or accepting unpredictable lead flow. Each of which are bad choices, by the way. If you ask me, there's not really a good one. Now, the new way is to install a fully managed high integrity acquisition system that works for you. This system transforms your LinkedIn profile from a static resume of work history or an outdated profile into a powerful automated sales asset that works 24/7 for you. The goal for you is to stop chasing clients and start attracting them while positioning yourself as an authority. Our unique mechanism ensures that every prospect who books a call with you is pre sold on your expertise. They don't show up to the meeting asking what you do, they show up asking how quickly can they start. So, before we dive in, I'm going to be showing you some calls we've booked for my clients on LinkedIn over the past 60 days using just the LinkedIn DMs now. So, this is an agency owner I worked with. We booked him 3 calls. Two showed up, and both of them were making more than $1 million a year. And also, this a call we booked also for one of my clients in the e-com space. And this also another one. I think it was a 3 million per year company. A really good guy, but he wasn't really a good fit for my client, so he had to kick him out. And these are also some inbound leads we've gotten on LinkedIn just using content and connection requests. And there's also some more meetings we booked in. So let's dive into the process now. The first step is profile optimization. I'm going to be showing you some examples of what you shouldn't do with your profile, by the way, on LinkedIn. So this is a profile I just wanted to use an example with. So his banner is really vague and there's nothing really special about it. And it sounds generic, contains no logo of brands he's worked with as social proof. And his headline also has no authority and a clear outcome. The link on his profile, he should have also used a custom link to show his offer or maybe a clear call to action. And this is also another example of a profile. If, his banner also is very vague, sounds generic, and contains no logo of brands he's worked with. His headline also has no authority and clear outcome, and no website or link to book a call. The same also with this guy. Now, so here are some examples of really good profiles, by the way. I want you to just sort of use them as an inspiration or something like that. And so this is Paulo. If you've been on LinkedIn for a while, I know you've probably seen him. And so he says the first headline, his headline says agencies and SaaS add 15 to 50,000 monthly recurring revenue in 90 days with the LinkedIn inbound funnel. It's clear, it's a clear outcome, a clear offer, and something probably everyone would want. So, and also his banner also says the same thing. He also has logos of brands he's worked with, which just shows he has credibility and social proof. And you also want to add who you help on your headline, so that way it's clear. And also when you send them a connection request, they will really accept the connection request, because you know they're being targeted, and also the offer is targeted at them. Another example is James Taylor. He says book 10 to 30 meetings a month with LinkedIn inbound, which is a clear offer. And also his banner says 10x your replies with AI built for agencies and sales teams, which is clear ICP. So that's a really good profile. And Conrad also is a really good profile. He says, I help B2B businesses book 30 to 50 sales calls every month with my CESR outbound framework, which is his unique mechanism. Really good profile. And also his banner also amplifies that, what he does. And so that would be it for profile optimization. You can sort of use them as an inspiration to build your own profile. Now, the second step would be having an offer that's optimized for cold traffic, backed with case studies or some form of social proof. Now, here are some example of cold traffic offers. Now, let's say you run, let's say, a DTC creative agency and you make ads for e-com brands. So a really good cold traffic offer to get your foot in the door would be, we'll script and edit 4 ad creatives that will outperform your top spenders for free. But your main offer would be, let's say, a 35% drop in cost per acquisition for your brand in the next 90 days. Now, this offer could be, let's say, 7 to 8K retainer, or maybe an upfront payment offer, paid in full. But this could be a cool traffic offer which you can use to get your foot in the door of these business owners, because they don't just pay you 8K a month immediately after hopping on call with you. It really happens because they don't know you, and some of them have been burned, and just a high friction offer to get in. Or let's say you run a lead gen agency and your offer is 10 to 30 qualified calls per month through call, email, and SMS. Now, this offer could be, let's say, a 4 to 5K per month offer. But a good cold traffic offer to make it the sale easier and increase the LTV would be, you get you 5 qualified calls for, let's say, maybe 750, or maybe you can put it 1K if you have really good case studies, or 2K, anything like that is good. And if they're satisfied with the calls, then they can proceed with your retainer, because obviously they have gotten a taste of your service. Or let's say you run a high ticket consulting business, let's say like business coaching, and your offer could be scale your agency or SaaS brand to 100K per month through an AI consulting program. But your cold traffic offer could be, will create an AI agent that can identify bottlenecks in your business and help you create offers and target personas that can afford high ticket services. And if you are satisfied with the results, you can pay for a consulting program. Now, this alone can make someone become your client, because you have a front end cold traffic offer that can solve a bottleneck in their business and then end up becoming your client. Now, also, the third step would be building lead lists and setting up connection request campaigns. And now you can use SalesNav for this. Sales Navigator is really good, or Clay, but SalesNav also works well since you're on LinkedIn already. And make sure the leads you are targeting are active on LinkedIn. If not, we'll get terrible reply rates and low acceptance rates when running any connection request campaigns or any outbound campaigns on LinkedIn. So you have to make sure that leads you are targeting are active. Now, after building the lead list, you can use HeyRich to automate the connection request campaigns. It's not really good. I'll put the link above so you can take a look. Now, you want to copy the link to the list and plug it into HeyRich to run the automated connection request campaigns. Or if you have a VA, you can just outsource it to them. It can't be more than 2 to 3 hours per week. It shouldn't take them much time. If you also want the step-by-step guide, you can send me a DM on LinkedIn and say HeyRich, and I'll send you the doc. It shouldn't be really a hassle. Now, fourth step would be LinkedIn DMs and appointment setting. Now, this is where you begin sending DMs to your warm traffic. So examples of warm traffic are people who accepted your connection request, people who engage with your post, and people who view your profile. Those are really good warm traffic. You can send a DM and get a really high response rate. Now, there are 2 categories which is choose when sending DMs, and the first category is commonalities you notice between you and the lead. This can be your opener, by the way, because it's very important you get a reply on the first DM so you can continue a conversation. Now, a good example is this DM. This call I booked with a lead on LinkedIn I saw. So this was the first DM. I said, so you're working with Bradley, interesting. Does she work for you, or are you guys building the agency together? And he replied also, hey, what's up, brother? So I told him I worked with him for a while. So, and he said, which Bradley? Then I tagged the Bradley guy and said, hey, yeah, currently client of ours, but Bradley has his own agency. We are not partnered with anyone. And he said, why do you ask? So then I told him I worked with him for a while. Then he said, that's great. And another thing to reach out to me asking about Bradley. And then after that, we just had a quick chat. And then after that, we hopped on a call. So that was it. The second type of DM you can send is authority building observations you notice in the person's business. So now this could be anything you can identify about their business and give them feedback so you can position yourself as an authority. Now, so I'm going to be showing you a brief example with this guy who I had a quick chat with on LinkedIn. So he does email marketing, by the way, and he was curious how I was getting leads on LinkedIn. So I told him I use LinkedIn search bar or sales nav. You can see it clearly here in the DMs. And he said, how do I get to the point of booking them and get to the stage of booking them in for calls? And I told him, you show them authority by showing them sales assets and also make authority building observations in their business, which shows you know what you're talking about. This is where authority plays a huge role. So let's say maybe you run an email marketing agency, for example, and you encounter an e-com brand owner who has a store, and then you can just go into the store and maybe say, I know you notice his pop-up forms aren't optimized, and you can give him a few ideas on how to optimize his pop-up forms, which is really good. I don't think any brand owner would be against optimizing their pop-up forms so they can get more emails, subscribers for their list, which is a good strategy. And so after that, we had a brief chat and then we hopped on a call. You can see that here clearly. Now, another method you can use to get people booked in is free deliverables. If you have anything for free or lead magnets you've created for for any lead or any one of your clients, you can just send them over to a person who runs a similar business. And you also need to be non-needy in the DMs and also follow up with value for this to work. So be non-needy, casual, and just show a genuine non-neediness whether they book in or not, so you don't position yourself as someone who actually is needy or wants to get a call booked. No need for that. And you should not automate the DMs also. I'm going to repeat this again, don't automate the DMs. And the reason is this: everyone and their grandma is basically automating the DMs, and business owners can smell it from a mile away, so you shouldn't use automations. The moment you use automations, everything tanks, and your reply rates, your connection access, your DM booking rates, everything just basically just gets down. And so you want to hire maybe a setter, or maybe just learn how to send very good DMs. I think that would be the best way. Now, if you use automations, then we'll book less qualified calls. I guarantee that, because we've used automations also for one of our clients. It was really bad. So I want to use some examples you can send just so you can relate on how to send messages. I want you to sound casual, non-scripted, non-needy, and also just like a normal person. So now here's an example when reaching out to a lead gen agency. I said, I noticed you run a lead gen agency. Interesting. Cold email reply rates have been really bad recently. A friend of mine has been complaining a lot lately. How have you guys been adapting lately? So this is a very casual DM, non-needy, and you're not pitching them on a 3 to 4K per month package or anything. It's just a DM, and basically these types of DMs really get really good, huge reply rates, so you should be using them when sending DMs to leads on LinkedIn. Another example, when reaching out to a skincare brand owner on LinkedIn, you can say something like, name, saw your skincare products on your website. The before and after transformations are out of this world. Your products must contain some secret ingredient your competitors don't know. Haha. This is also very casual, non-needy, and just positioning yourself as someone who just wants to help or is generally interested in their business. Now, the fifth step is LinkedIn content systems and lead magnets. Now, this is a little bit trickier and harder, but very powerful when done correctly. Now, content, I want you to forget bofu, tofu, mofu, and use this strategy instead. Your content should be based around these three buckets: product, which is the first bucket; category, which are education and authority positioning posts; and business. Now the business and personal journey posts, we are going to be getting started with that. Now this type of content is mostly about your personal journey and business milestone. Examples are hiring posts, revenue milestones, raising money, and just showing what your business is all about and what you've achieved, plus day-to-day of running your company. Now, fair warning here, you shouldn't post too much of this type of content for your personal brand, because they just get impressions and don't necessarily lead most of the time. People just engage with you when you make these posts. They have no idea what you sell, what your offer is, and how you can help them. So you've maybe hit 1 million per year with your business, and they just say, yay, they congrats, all that stuff, praising you and stuff, and then they just go vanish and you never see them again. That's really what happens with business content and your personal journey content. But you should actually share some of them, but just not too much. Now, category content, which is mainly education and authority positioning posts. Now, the most important part of your content strategy. This is the most important part of your content strategy. These are posts that are targeted at your industry, what you sell, your offer, and your field of expertise. So if you do lead gen, then your category should be cold email, cold calls, ads, plus outbound software tools like Clay, Apollo, or Instantly AI. All those outbound tools are really good categories you can create content on. If you run a content agency, then your category could be YouTube videos, scripting, ideation, editing strategy, SEO, and thumbnails. Those are really good categories you can post content on. Now, this is probably the most important part of your content strategy, because it amounts to most of your conversion mechanism in your content flywheel. Good examples of some of these are industry trends, how we content. So it could be how we created a LinkedIn or a YouTube video that got 45k views for our ex-client, or it could be how I made a video that got 300k per year business booked in for one of my clients using a YouTube video. Generally, how you do stuff for your clients are really good examples of category content. And you can also post what differentiates you from your competition, so what you do differently as a business than your competitors, your honest takes on industry trends. These are really good ideas. Doing Q&As on your social media accounts to show your authority, and also showing how you fulfill your service for your clients is also really good, so people can have a peek at your business and how you operate. Now, these kinds of posts gets less impressions, but definitely more qualified leads and higher conversions. Definitely, you will notice this when posting category content. The last part is product or sales content. Now, these are salesy posts, so think anything case studies, how we took this client from X result to achieving X result. Any sort of that falls under category content. And also direct offer content with the CTA to DM you. So it could be, I'm taking 3 or more clients this quarter, DM me if you're interested, any sort of that. Now, they're mostly bottom of funnel contents, and are mostly towards getting more leads and sales, nothing more, nothing less. And so the last part of this would be lead magnets. So now these are posts positioned as normal posts, but with the CT at the end to give you a free resource. Key here is to use trends that are currently working in the market and lead magnet ideas. So what makes these posts go viral is simply having a good visual hook and a good authority-based hook. Now, a good example now we did for our client here is that we generated 27 million plus for e-commerce brands by making a simple change to our creative angle. Now, this is a really good authority hook, because they've generated $27 billion for their brand, so they have a huge authority. Now, you can also use trend jacking. Maybe when a new software is out in your industry, you can trend jack the trend, you can trend jack the topic, and create lead magnets based on that trend, and also get a bunch of leads booked in. That's also a really good strategy you can use. Now, these are a good way to get leads, but the problem is it's controlled by the algorithm. So even if you go viral, there's a good chance 60 to 70% of the leads you get are mostly unqualified. Now you should do 2-3 a week, and at the very max 3-4 a week to get inbounds and build your audience. Anything more than 3-4 a week, it's basically bad. And because if you do, then people will get bored of you and stop engaging with you, because you become a clickbait account. Basically, people are really tired of commenting your posts, and just especially now because LinkedIn has become really a war zone of lead magnets. People are commenting on posts, but they're basically not sending them anything, which just means people are wasting their time if they comment on your post. Now, too many giveaway posts makes leads lose interest in your content, because you are just a clickbait account. There's really nothing fancy. All you ask them to do is comment, and basically it's just very boring. Now, easiest way you can generate ideas for lead magnets is to use Claude. You can just put in a prompt to give you ideas on lead magnets you can use to create for LinkedIn, and it will spit out a ton for you. Now, here's what you can expect when you implement the authority flywheel system. First off, you will experience predictable pipeline growth. So you eliminate the feast or famine cycle. 90% of our clients see a 3x increase in qualified sales appointments within the first 90 days. Now, we'll protect and amplify your personal brand, so you're not going to be making ridiculous. We'll protect and amplify your personal brand, so we are not going to be making any ridiculous claims for you or on your behalf. So that's really important, by the way. We'll shorten your sales cycle, so prospects show up pre-sold and ready to discuss solutions. Most of our clients report a 40% reduction in the average time to close. That's if you're a good closer, but if you're terrible, then basically you need to upgrade your sales skills for sure. So you'll also reclaim your time. Our system requires a maximum of 2 hours of your time, probably per month, for you to focus on fulfillment and also closing more deals. That's a huge thing because most people don't have all day to be on LinkedIn posting content and sending DMs. So we make sure we do that for you, so you can focus on other high leverage tasks for your business. So results in 90 days, you can expect anywhere between 15 to 30 qualified calls per month, depending on your niche and target market. So if you're in a really tough niche, you can definitely struggle to get more qualified calls booked, because you're in a red ocean niche and industry. So it would be a little bit more difficult for you to get results. But if you're in a blue ocean strategy, then yes, you should be getting really good results and also more clients and more qualified calls booked. So if you're interested and you want to get started, you can send me a DM on LinkedIn. Or if you have any questions on how you can implement the system, you can also send me a message, and I walk you through the process on how you can do it. So peace, guys. And if you also want the Canva doc, I'll put the link down in the description so you can take a look. So peace, guys. Have a nice day.